All right, welcome to the Chilo a Bass podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Love it.
This is the Let's Rock Review podcast, where we always start with a Jack Black quote, of course. We have today Foo Fighters' fifth album, In Your Honor. We got a lot to say about it. Kurt, tell us what you got.
Yeah, fantastic album. Thank you for those that are here listening. This is our third recording, although it's the fifth album. We didn't intentionally plan on making a podcast at first, but yeah, if you heard in our previous ones, we're going to go back and make sure we cover all the Foo Fighters albums. And Kyle, is very fitting that you started out with your School of Rock quote. My music shirt for today happens to be School of Rock.
Yes.
With Jack Black on it.
Oh, that's a great shirt.
Yeah. Just recently, my most recent birthday, Andrew thought it would be good if, I had a School of Rock shirt. So I was cool. This is amazing. And this is very fitting for our podcast. So I had to wear this one. So
nice.
And yeah, those of you that are watching the YouTube channel, you get to see of its amazingness, but
see the glory of the shirt.
Oh yeah.
When are we doing that first one? We're going back to do the first two. Tell them when we're doing the first one.
Yeah, so I mean we're kind of open, but there's I forgot. Maybe after Wasting Light, we'll go back and do the first one, and then do the next one after Wasting Light, and then go back and do the Color and the Shape. So yeah, there's no exact schedule, but
just didn't want people to think that we were first and second album haters or anything like that. We just didn't start until the third album, and so now we're gonna go back and we've had discussions about them, but we wanted to record them. And again, this is we're not experts on this topic. We just want to it's just two dudes having a conversation about some great music, and just decided why not put it on there.
Yeah, and not just share our opinion. We're gonna try to throw in some fun facts as well. So
absolutely. But one thing I've learned so much about, and you already know that we all know this, but so much of music is so subjective. I love so many songs, and I'll go through an album and be like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite song of the album. And then I'll read somebody's opinion and be like, oh, that's the worst song on the album. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Are we listening to the same song? But yeah, we have some fun facts, but it is also subjective. You hear certain songs, and I've said this previously as well. You listen to songs at a certain point in your life, and so for the rest of your life, they're going to mean something different to you. If you listen to it when you've had you're going through a dark time or a good time or whatever it is, those songs are going to mean something different to you. And yeah, but at the same time, going through, we've learned so many cool things about the Foo Fighters so far, and I think it just keeps getting better and better. The more we research, the more we do this, the more interesting things you find about how music is made and how an album is made, and especially when it comes to the Foo Fighters, who, Dave Grohl's kind of a unique guy in the way he makes music. He doesn't want everything to sound the same, which is kind of funny because that leads us into our fifth studio album here. Why is this one different, Kurt?
Well, this one's a fun one. Oh, yeah, and I guess right before that, those joining for the first time, kind of review what's going on with the band, the making of the album. Then we'll dissect the songs as well. So just to kind of give you a heads up. But yeah, so far the first four albums, just a standard, 10, 11 tracks, very, the number of tracks varies by each album, of course, but this one is their first double CD, and not just an album with double the songs. You've got your standard rock, Foo Fighters album, and then the second disc, well, if you bought the CD back in the day, is their what they called their acoustic album. So really neat. And something else I'll point out, I guess back in the day, they didn't make it double the price or anything. I think they just said it was an extra $1. And I was like, an extra dollar to get a second Foo Fighters album, it's like that's a steal. So,
Oh yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
something they had been. Dave mentioned, it was more like not just spur of the moment. Let's make a Foo Fighters acoustic album, but like songs they had, some of them they might have been working on, some maybe they just did for this album, but they didn't feel like it fit in yet to a specific album. And then rather than just, put them in here and there, it's like, let's make this second album. And it's a good one. I'm looking forward to discussing both albums.
Yeah, it's so cool because I love Dave Grohl's style in that he never wants two songs to sound alike. Although a lot of people would argue that a lot of Foo Fighters sound alike, and I think that'll come up especially when we talk about the first half of the album. But he wants to show his range, and Foo Fighters wanted to show their range in this. They didn't want to just do the same thing that they've always done, and so the second album, while acoustic and while a lot softer than their normal stuff, isn't necessarily all new. A lot of the tracks had been previously recorded. I think one of the songs Dave Grohl wrote when he was, I think he said when he first moved in with Kurt Cobain, he wrote one of the songs, and then Taylor Hawkins had written one of the songs years before he joining Foo Fighters. So it's not all new stuff. It's not stuff that they just came up with for this, but it's things that they wanted to show how much range they had. It's great too because Dave Grohl says of this album, it's like what did he say exactly? It's something about a chapter closing and end of one door close up. It's the end of the old, in with the new. That they feel like they had kind of gotten the whole rock thing down with the aggressive style that they're used to, but then they showed off the range of what is possible.
Yeah.
And it's when you go back and you listen to a lot of bands, over time, people are always like, I remember when we were kids, man, we all the time, oh, these guys sold out or they did this. And no, it's just evolution. Like you're as an artist, you write stuff and then you write different stuff later on. You don't want to just write the same stuff over and over again. So we used to trash on these bands for evolving and becoming a better version of themselves. And we're like, oh, they sold out, they did this. But this is a perfect example of a band, evolution of a band.
For the record, we weren't saying those bad things about the Foo Fighters.
I've never said anything bad about the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. I saw something on Spin Magazine online back in August 2005. It's interesting. Dave was asked, why make a double album? And he says, when we came off the last year and a half of touring, I didn't know what to do. Am I supposed to jump back in and shoot out another CD and speed up my contract and make sure we get a bigger light show? It didn't seem creatively rewarding, so I started writing this acoustic stuff because I wanted to find a movie to score. One of my favorite records is Ry Cooder's soundtrack to Paris, Texas. But after demoing all this acoustic music and doing Probot, I thought, why can't this be on a Foo Fighters records? I didn't want to do a solo record, and who's to say what we should sound like? And I think the band finally trusted me to try it. So
that's my favorite quote. That what you just said. Say that last part again.
Let's see. I didn't want to do a solo record, and who's to say what we should sound like? And I think the band finally trusted. Yeah.
Who's to say what Foo Fighters should sound like?
Right. Yeah.
I like that a lot. He even mentions that too, because it's kind of funny. He jumping kind of into the album. One of the first singles that the studio wanted to have was actually the second song, and he says, "No, that sounds too much like a Foo Fighters song."
Yes. Yeah.
Like, dude, you are funny. The Foo Fighters. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That's who you guys are, right?
Yeah. And again, I think that's just him wanting to be an art. I mean, I have so much to say. I don't want to jump ahead here into the songs, but he says so many great things about being an artist and leaving things open to interpretation, and not just doing the same thing over and over again. And they did. They so effectively showed their range.
Yeah.
Like some of these songs you listen to, you're like, it's not the Foo Fighters or what
Yeah.
we know the Foo Fighters is, but again, who's to say what the Foo Fighters are?
Hmm. Yeah, and going into I saw, ooh, what was it? There's a YouTube video I saw, like making of the album, and like it had interviews with the band and everything, and it just seemed their approach to this album was very different than the last one. For those of you that listen to our One by One podcast, they went through some rough times. The band talked about, like, they thought the band was going to break up. They went their different ways for a little bit. All the details you can listen to again, but they went into this like just feeling, almost felt like it was, well, at least my interpretation of it, like going back to There's Nothing Left to Lose, where they all just felt, relaxed and ready to record. In that video, Chris Shiflett, the guitar player, he talked about how after touring of One by One, it was a hit. So, everyone came into this, says everyone was charged up and ready for it. I guess they rehearsed and then went into the studio, and he kind of like chuckles, unlike the last record. So it just a different approach, but
Man, I
yeah.
still can't hear you say anything or hear anyone say anything about the Foo Fighters almost breaking up without hearing the drum line from No One to No One Knows from Queens of the Stone Age. Immediately, Foo Fighters breaking up. No, it like that. Oh man. Anyway,
Dun,
yeah,
dun, dun,
what
dun.
you were saying.
Yeah. But yeah, it just in that documentary, or just that little video, they seemed like they were having a good time and like just excited to play music. Yeah, and Dave, he mentioned I think he enjoyed, making that album, and like he felt proud of the work. There's actually a quote I wanted to play you real quick.
Oh
This
yeah.
is Dave talking, and yeah, just in the video, you'll have to make sure, just thumbs up if you can hear or not. Let's see, here we go.
I really want this one to be the record that in 20 years, when some kid asks their dad, like, you ever heard of Foo Fighters? Oh, yeah. Which record should I get? They should say In Your Honor.
I don't, it was
That's
kind of some static there, but yeah, I love how he was like, someone asked their dad, in 20 years, like, you ever hear of the Foo Fighters? Oh, yeah. The great thing about it is, here we are, including our kids with the song reviews. This
yeah.
album came out just about 20 years ago now. Like, here we are talking about the Foo Fighters with our kids. I was like, that's a pretty awesome clip. I gotta include that in here. So
No, that's great. Although I would probably say this is not the album that many people go to, but it is a great album.
yeah, there's
I because especially when my kids ask me about the Foo Fighters. I remember when my children asked me the first time. It's definitely one of the older albums,
Yeah.
But it's still I think he said that too, like just throwing my own interpretation is, hey, look, this is what we are and this is who we can be. This is what we are capable of in such a wide scope.
Yeah, for sure.
I like talking about the making of the album too, because this one's kind of funny. They were building the studio, trying to build the studio so they recorded. It wasn't done, so they had to go in and help finish building it.
Yeah. Well, and I love that. Just kind of shows how like eager they were to get in there and record. It was like, yeah, let's help out. Let's make sure it's.
Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, guys, take your time. We'll record when you're done. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Nah, they were in there putting in drywall, man, just trying to get it done.
Yeah. And yeah, kind of like you were saying, it might not be the album, when asked about the Foo Fighters, everyone it's like not the first one to recommend, but there's some amazing songs that we'll definitely cover. But kind of along those lines, I think this was the first album in a while to not win a Grammy.
Yeah, it broke their streak.
Yeah, but the thing is about that, it can be kind of misleading. Like it's like, you know, there's nothing left to lose. That album wins a Grammy. One by One wins a Grammy. Oh, this one didn't. Maybe it's not that great. But I was looking into uh, the Grammys when it was up for nomination, and just look at the competition it was up
Oh
against.
gosh, let's hear this. I didn't look at this.
So, best rock song, Best of You, it was nominated. It was up against, let's see, Weezer, Bruce Springsteen, Coldplay, and U2. It's like all of those bands, it's like are worthy of winning a Grammy. It's like when you're up against that, it's like, oh man, that's tough competition.
That's some tough competition for sure.
Yeah.
Although I still would have picked Foo Fighters.
Yeah. And then best rock album, Rolling Stones, Neil Young, Coldplay, and U2. And those two categories I just mentioned, U2 won. So it's like, I mean, how do you compete against a band like U2? It's like
true.
It's
very true. So it's a great album. They had a great album, but sometimes you don't win the award. And those awards are I don't want to say just as subjective as our opinions here on this podcast, but you know what I mean?
Right. Oh, that reminds me of another Simpsons quote. Which album? Was it our first podcast that I brought in a Simpsons reference?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the Simpsons, they made fun of like Grammys a lot too. Like Homer and his Homer and his barbershop quartet won a Grammy, and he threw it off the balcony, and someone's like, "Oh, what is this?" It's like, "Oh, it's a Grammy," and they like throw it back or something. Anyway, so they may not have won an award, but it's like that doesn't take away from the greatness
how great
of
the album is, for sure.
Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah.
Recording of the album as well. I just love that they wanted to branch out. They wanted to do their own thing, but they're like, look, they also acknowledge their own limitations is such the wrong word, but they also acknowledge that they probably need a little bit of help. So they got some outside help with some of these some of these songs.
Oh yeah.
And the other one while we're recording. And oddly enough, John Paul Jones, did I say that right?
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, John Paul Jones was actually in town for the Grammys. And so he recorded with them. Nora Jones is on the album. We'll talk about them more later when they get to there. But there's it's cool that they're like, hey, as an artist, he appreciates other art and he wants to bring other people in to make his stuff better, which is it's just so it's great to see that he's still 5 albums, couple Grammys in his pocket. He's still like, look, I'm an artist, but let's make better art. It's humble enough to say, not I need help. He doesn't need any help, but like I can make this better if I bring other people in, and we can make it even better by having guest singers, guest players, whatever it is. But he wasn't just like, we're going to do this on our own. He's in it for the art and he's in it for the music, which is so cool. And you can tell that by how many other people are involved in the making of this album, for sure. Yeah.
I love going back to that video, just talking, Chris Shiflett, just talking about making the album. He was saying, like, we recorded the rock album, then the acoustic, and then they actually went back to the rock since the acoustic was getting so good. He was saying,
I remember reading that, yeah.
Yeah, couldn't let that beat the rock album. So they, quote unquote, rethought some of the rock.
Rethought. Like, dude, we better make this better.
Yeah. So it's, even if you're not, maybe you're just like the standard rock Foo Fighter fan, if you're not into the acoustic music, it's definitely worth checking out, because even they thought like, hey, this is a good album, and it's definitely worth listening to. Like I myself, like, very much into the rock aspect, and not always a huge acoustic fan, but there's some good songs on here. Definitely worth the listen.
Oh yeah, for sure. Some great. Even if you're not a huge fan of it, it's still great to explore. Like if you appreciate the artist of David Grohl, it's still fun to see other art that he's created, other music that he's created. So any Dave Grohl fan or any Foo Fighters fan going in is going to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm, like you said, maybe I'm not the biggest acoustic fan. I happen to love acoustic songs. I'm a big acoustic fan.
Nice.
And I will say I do like the rock stuff better, but I still love acoustic songs. In fact,
Yeah.
my favorite song on this album is a toss up between one of the rock songs and one of the acoustic songs.
Ooh,
But
nice.
either way, like you go in and listen to it, it's Dave Grohl creating, and it's Foo Fighters creating what they create, and it's still awesome either way, because it's still, at the end of the day, sounds like the Foo Fighters, because it is the Foo Fighters. Because who's to say what they sound like, Kurt? Who's to say?
Not me.
Not me, and especially not me. So,
yeah.
Anything else you want to say about that, or should we get into the songs?
I think we could go ahead and get into the songs. I just feel
There's
like
20 of them, Kurt.
20? Oh my goodness, 20. Let's do this.
All right, awesome. In Your Honor, Disc 1.
Man. Disc 1, the rock album first.
Oddly enough, first song, In Your Honor.
Crazy how that works.
I like this. You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not gonna say that yet. I want to say that for the second song.
Okay. No, I think this is an amazing, like, not just an amazing song, but an amazing first track of an album.
And yes, like, Dave Grohl, we can hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I love how it's like trying to get everyone's attention. Like there's a public speaking thing where to make sure you have people's attention before you start talking. Like it's a basic rule for public speaking. And he does that. He's like, "Can you hear me?" You're like, "Yes, we can." Now
can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Good.
Good. But as I was listening to it, it just feels like the perfect, like, not just first track for the album, but first track like for a concert as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like just coming out screaming, like, "Can you hear me? Hear me screaming?"
Yeah.
And like I got a little curious. And I mean, like it's easy to say, like, oh, track 1, like a lot of bands play their first song on an album, to start off a concert. I checked setlist.com. I don't know if you've ever gone on there, but like you can go back, like look at a concert you went to or any concert and check out the set list. And I looked up, the In Your Honor tour, and yeah, they played this song like 90% of those shows. So
it makes sense. It's like you said, it's a great first song in any situation you're in. It's a great first song. It doesn't matter what situation. It doesn't matter if it's a party, an album, a show, whatever it is. This is the greatest first song.
Oh yeah. So I did get a little curious, maybe a side tangent here. I was like, what is like the most played first track out of all of their albums? What would be your guess?
Oh man. Well, I would guess this one, but at the same time, like it's not something like Everlong, because that's usually probably in the encore or something.
Yeah. No, but of like all of their albums, all of the track 1s. So what have they played?
My guess would be this one. I mean, I don't know. What is it?
It is I lost it. Oh, here it is. No. Okay. This Is a Call, off of their self-titled, their first album.
Really?
They play that. And I think with like a lot of their recent tours, they don't play it first, but like they'll still play it. And I love that because, like, even though, I mean, for those of you that know the Foo Fighters, the self-titled, the first album was just Dave his own demo. He played all the instruments, and this was before the band had formed. So the
Can you
fact
not
that
spoil our podcast coming out in a few weeks, please? I'm just kidding.
right. So pretty cool that like they still play some songs from that. It's
Yeah,
like,
that actually is cool because like you have the whole band now, and it's like, hey guys, I did this stuff like before we were together.
oh,
That's
you're
cool.
I think your mic cut out for a second there, or maybe I just heard it wrong or something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah. Hear you screaming.
Oh, I was just saying, I was agreeing with you. I was saying, oh, it's cool that he's like, hey guys, I got this stuff that I used to play like before y'all were around. Can we play that first?
Yeah, I love that. I also love.
I wish I would have known about setlist.com. Another side tangent. Incubus concert 2002 October. Almost sure it was 2002 October. Anyway, Certain Shade of Green, only song I wanted to hear. I didn't know about encores then. I didn't know they were going to come out after they left the stage. I was one Incubus song I wanted to see was Certain Shade of Green. Me and you remember Paul were walking off the stage and they play Certain Shade of Green, and I'm too far gone. I can hear it, but I don't get to see it. So yeah, I wish I would have known about setlist.com back then. It's a great site to know about these days.
Yes. That's funny.
Anyway,
and sad. Back to Foo Fighters though.
In your honor, interesting in the left for me. I think it was all about his experience on the campaign trail with John Kerry. So 2004, he spent some time with John Kerry, comes back and gives a couple shout outs on the album to his time in politics, but was careful to mention he didn't. I'm trying to get into the second song, man.
Stop.
Stop it.
I've got a sorry, going back sticking with the first song.
Try to jump ahead.
I love the like the last like minute, and then like last 30 seconds there's like the pause, and then it really just gets into like the fast, like really like punk sounding. It not like your typical rock Foo Fighters, but just very like punk rock. And it kind of reminded me of reading his book, The Storyteller. Really, when he like
great book.
Oh yeah, if you haven't read that, I highly recommend that.
It's not a long read either. I mean, it's decently long, but it's not that bad of a read. It's really good.
And it didn't feel very long too, because you just get in it. He is a good storyteller.
He really is.
And it's like you just want to hear more. But I remember the part where he's like, his mom's friend, they would go to their place during each summer, and his mom's friend's daughter, one of the summers, she like turned punk rock, and like here she is like introducing him to like all these bands. He says like the Misfits, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, to name a few. And I love the quote in the book. He says, "This was the first day of the rest of my life."
Yes.
So I mean, like, Foo Fighters are rock, but like I feel like at the end of this song, he's like, let's remember when this started.
Yeah, I mean, he's always called himself a metalhead, but like it's just cool to see like all his influences, because it's such a interesting mix of metal, punk, and everything in between. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. But yeah, great song. I love just the intro of it. The intro, those first lyrics, and then the end, just that punk rock sound, and great song.
Nice. Can we move on? Can we go?
Okay, let's.
Oh yes.
Only because the next song is good as well. So
this has got to be, and it's a toss up. Not really. It's probably this song. Almost definitely this song. This has got to be my favorite song on the album, personally.
Oh, interesting.
Strong opinion.
Okay.
I know, especially with Best of You coming up next. But I love the song No Way Back. The producers came in, said, we want this to be the first single. He said, no, sounds too much like Foo Fighters.
Yes.
So they dropped Best of You instead. But this song is just amazing. Again, he comes out with the second one. He's fresh off the campaign trail in 2004 with John Kerry. Comes back, but he specifically quotes a couple other bands and says he doesn't want to be considered political at all. He didn't want to step on the toes of Green Day, who has been political in the past. And he said, I have it right here. Let me just read. But I kind of denied a lot of the political overtones because I didn't want to step on Green Day's toes or have people think we were a political band. And I didn't want us to turn into Rage Against the Machine. By leaving my perspective out of things, it made it so that made it so general that other people decide their interpretation. What have I been saying this whole time, Kurt? What have I been saying this whole time? He is awesome. And I know there are exceptions to this, but on a lot of his songs, he wants people to garner their own meaning from it.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of him saying exactly that. Like, look, we're not stepping on Green Day's toes. We're not going to become Rage Against the Machine. Both great bands, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But I love that. I want people to be able to come up with their interpretation. I'm leaving my perspective out of it, despite the fact that he, was political. He was on the campaign trail, but he's like, look, I'm still, at the end of the day, I'm an artist, and I want people to get what they want to get from my art.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
also,
and this
guitar in the beginning is just chef's kiss.
For sure. And this one, I don't remember the exact, like, the original sessions. I know we went into detail with that for One by One, but all I did see was, though, that this and Best of You, these were the only songs that remained from the original sessions of recording this album. So I guess
I remember they specifically talked about tabling Best of You and then having to bring it back out after, because what you said earlier about the they're like, we need to bring in the stuff because the acoustic album's getting too good, so they unshelved Best of You and like let's clean up the song a little bit, make it better, and put it on the album.
Yeah. And the music video. Did you watch the music video for this one?
Yeah, they were playing hockey. That's the other reason it's so great.
Yes.
They were playing hockey, dude.
For those of you listening that maybe just stumbled upon our podcast that don't personally know Kyle or I, all you need to know is, we love hockey, we love music, and now you know us. So
that's it. That's all there is to know.
That's all.
Hockey, music, family. That's it.
Yeah. So seeing Dave play some hockey, I was like, man. I mean, he was already cool, but man,
I already love Dave Grohl, and that just was like, dude, now I just love you even more. This is great.
I don't know if you saw it. So yeah, for those of you listening and haven't seen it, they're going on tour throughout Europe. And Kyle, I don't know if you saw this. They show a clip of the I forgot how to pronounce it, Atomium in Brussels, which is the architecture from the 1958 World's Fair. And you might notice this because that was the inspiration.
The album cover.
Yeah, for The Color and the Shape.
Oh,
little Easter egg they planted in this music video. So I was like, as I saw it, I was like, hey, wait. So I think awesome. It was like a minute and a half in, something like that. At least, I mean, I don't know for sure, but it definitely looked like that. I was like, wait a minute.
I'll have to go back and check that out. I didn't notice that. I just was so like, he's playing hockey.
Right, yeah. Everything else just, went out the other way. Right? Hockey. But yeah, knowing they were touring in Europe and then seeing that, I was like, wait. So,
wait a minute. I know that.
Yeah. Another fun fact about this song, if any of you have played Madden NFL 2006 video game, this song is in that video game.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's old.
That is.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. I love it when bands do that. Do you remember playing NHL 2010 on the Wii?
You mean When I Beat You? I'm just kidding. I do
have,
remember playing that. I don't know if I won or not, but I do remember playing that.
I have no recollection of you beating me. No, anyway, like in that game, I remember Phoenix. They were in the song 1901, and I hadn't heard Phoenix before that. And I'm like, man, this looks pretty cool. And like, I mean, they're long story short, they're like one of my favorite bands now. So I think it's so awesome when like video games do get these like famous bands and famous songs in their games. So
Pro Skater, anybody?
oh yeah. Oh
there's so many good songs in video games.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So
we can go on about that forever.
Yeah. So if any of you gamers out there got your first taste of Foo Fighters from that game, that's awesome. Glad you're a fan now.
Glad you're a fan from playing a hockey game that's almost 20 years old.
Football game.
Oh, football game. Sorry, football game. Yeah, sorry.
Phoenix was the hockey game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, great song. Loved it. Love seeing like all these facts and just the music video for it. It's good stuff.
It's cool to see too, because when you look at the process of making a record, which I have no idea about at all, but reading about it, it's like how different could the album have been if they had made some like it's all, you know, with Foo Fighters, it all seems so last minute. Like, oh, we made this album in 2.5 weeks. Oh, we changed this at the last second. We took this out. Not all last minute. Don't get me wrong, but like, it seems like they go back and make so many changes. It's like, well, what might have been? I guess I don't really care what might have been because what we have is epic. But it's interesting to think like there's so many other versions of these songs. Like one of the acoustic songs was originally a rock song, and they changed it into an acoustic song, and you know what could have been, but what ended up happening is so great.
Yeah, and I don't think we should confuse that. I know you're not, but anyone else listening, it's not like they just go in last minute and put it together.
No. Yeah,
it's like all that work leading up to it, and then like just making those changes at the end. It's like, yeah, just building up to that point where it's like they can just be like, let's change this, let's change that. So
yeah, for sure. Because a lot of these are written beforehand. I mean, especially with this album, some of the other albums have had that. Like where these like, Dave, like, I just wrote this last night. Let's record it. But no. They've been playing these songs and been messing around with them, fine tuning them. And that's part of the point I was trying to make is like, you know, you think, you know, for a song like Best of You or No Way Back is like how many different versions of that song. You know, there might have been just like little minute details that were different, but like there's a bunch of different versions of that song somewhere out there that could have been, but this is the one we got.
Yeah.
Speaking of Best of You, song number 3.
I've got another confession to make.
Oh, really?
Oh man, those listening, apologize. I apologize for the dad jokes.
And we're two dads, man. It's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I used to be funny, but anyway. No. So Best of You. Yeah, I think this is on my Mount Rushmore. And
nice.
Dare I even say, I don't know if I can just say one, but like it's up there. It could be like one of my favorites. So
nice.
Yeah, I just think it's a fantastic song. I love, you know, like the intro. There's like, you know, some of the calmer parts, you know, it still has the parts where they just go at it. They go heavy. I love the lyrics. And, you know, I don't go into listening a song with a checklist of like, okay, does it have this? Like, can it be my favorite song?
Matching, and does the breakdown sound proper?
Right. But, you know, I'll often go back to, you know, a song I really like and just, you know, evaluate it from there. It's like, what is bringing me back to this song? And there's just so many things about this song that I feel like it does bring me back. So, yeah, fantastic song. And it kind of going back to like the lyrics too, and also going back to, if you listen to our first podcast that we recorded for There's Nothing Left to Lose, we talked about his interview with Kelly Clarkson and Learn to Fly. In that interview, like separate song, he's actually referring to Everlong, but I know he doesn't just mean this for Everlong itself, but for all his songs. I love what Dave says. He says, music is meant to heal. You find yourself in the song, or you can relate to the lyric, or you can relate to the pain. The luxury of my life is that I can sit down with an instrument and write a song and then go out and play in front of a bunch of people and they sing it with me. It could be 50,000 people singing the same lyric for 50,000 different reasons, because that lyric means something specific to them. They're not singing it for my reasons. They're singing it for their reasons. Excuse me, throat's feeling a little questionable there. But yeah, I feel like especially the lyrics with this, like that applies to this song as well. Like it's not like so specific where he's like, like, oh, last year, this happened and this. It's just very general. A lot of people can relate to it. I've even heard like some people comment like, I feel like this song applied to me at this point in my life and then this point in my life, like the good and the bad. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. And so, I mean, just the fact that people can relate to it on so many different levels, I think that's fantastic as well.
That's the best part about music to me. It's just
yeah.
I mean, we've said it several times too. It's like wherever you're at in life, you're going to hear a song and it's going to mean something. It's someone getting the best of you. Like, who hasn't gone through a situation where someone's gotten the best of you in some way, whether it's professional, whether it's a relationship, whether it's, whatever it is, someone's gotten the best of you at some point in your life. And so this song especially, I bet, resonates with, I mean, everyone can resonate with that kind of situation.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the fact that he points that out, that Dave is like, look, it's going to mean what it means to you. And it's so cool too, because one of the other reasons, or one of the other things we've said, and one of the other reasons I love Dave Grohl so much is that he goes into a lot of his songs knowing that it's going to mean some things to people in different ways, or it's going to mean this to this person and this to a different person. But it's still like the fact that it means something, and that it's what did he say? Healing pain.
Yeah, music is meant to heal.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did he say?
That's
yeah. Another part, he says, there's something about even the darkest lyrics, like I think they're meant to heal somehow. There's like hope, it's important to be hopeful. You're fighting your way through something, but you're hopeful. And I mean, he even talks about hope in this song specifically. I think towards the middle of it, the hope that starts the broken heart or something like that. But yeah, just including that hope, and just hearing this interview from the Kelly Clarkson show, I thought, man, like, Dave's awesome.
Unless it's Learn to Fly, because he just wanted to get his pilot's license.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to fall into the trap of telling people what this song means. But anyway. Yeah.
All right, DOA.
Oh, I'm not done with Best of You.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm here.
No. Yeah, there's an interview with Kerrang I thought was interesting too. Talked about Kerrang, the magazine, last
for sure
podcast as well. But it was saying, this was your big comeback single last year. And he says, Best of You is funny because we demoed so many songs for In Your Honor. I'd kind of forgotten about Best of You. And yeah, we talked about that before. Like,
yeah,
a lot of his hits, he's like, oh, that's gonna be a hit, Anyway, getting back to his comment, I thought we could do better. So it was shelved, and it was our manager who came in and said, what happened to that Best of You song? So we pulled it out, worked on it a little more. A lot of the songs just with riffs and melodies, and the lyrics come last, but the lyrics came pretty quickly on this one. And it just reminded me of All My Life, you know, one of their other like biggest hits, and that was kind of like he didn't think of anything of it.
That's one of my Mount Rushmore songs, by the way.
Nice. I think I've talked about 3 of mine so far: Monkey Wrench, Everlong, and Best of You. So
I've got Everlong and Best of You, and
more to come
coming up next album.
Ooh, nice. Let's see. Oh yeah, but I love just I could talk about this song all day. I feel like I'll try to keep it just a few more points, but I've seen some live performances, you know, just videos on YouTube of this, and like, you know, a little after 2-minute mark where it's just him doing the O's, like oh, and like the whole audience just like yells it out with him. I like get goosebumps just watching it, listening to that.
Nice.
Oh, and you know you've made it when one of your songs, you know, Best of You, is played by none other than Prince in the Super Bowl in 2007. Prince performed this song. I was like, can you do any better?
I feel like I knew that, but it was something I forgot about.
Yeah.
For so long that I haven't thought about it forever. But that's epic.
You have made it in the music business. Prince is covering your song.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible to think about. Like, dude, like we've won some Grammys, but who cares? Prince just covered our song. We're like, right? Here, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, great song. Love it. Might have a little guest review later on of this song, so
nice.
Prepare for that. So nice. I could go on more, but you know, we've got other songs on this album, so I guess I'll.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I'll pass the torch.
All right, we got DOA.
DOA.
Good song, great song. I love the guitar on this one. I love the you know, a lot of times you like the lyrics better than the music. Sometimes you like the music better than the lyrics. This one I definitely like the music of this one a lot.
Yeah, it's a good one. This music video, I don't remember seeing it in the past, but watching it, I feel like they went back to kind of some of their like humorous videos. I feel like, you know, All My Life and I forgot the other one. Anyway, from their last album, they weren't making the silly videos as much, you know, as like Everlong and Learn to Fly, but this one gets like a little silly again. Kind of fun to see. And I was also going to mention the last album, talking about music videos. Early 2000s, I feel like was kind of a black hole for music videos, because it's like late 90s, MTV kind of stopped making music, or they just weren't showing as much music videos. And this was before YouTube. So that time in between, like, I feel like bands would still make them, but I feel like they didn't have the same popularity as like, you know, the 90s, 80s, or even today, like with YouTube, it helps. So this was the first time as we were like looking into this album that I saw the music video for DOA, but it's a fun one. They're like playing somewhere and like whatever they're in, it starts like rotating. So they're like trying not to like fall over and everything.
Yeah.
Check it out if you're interested. Pretty funny.
It's a good one.
Video. Yeah. And yeah, this song also appears in Rock Band, the video game in 2008. I forgot which Rock Band. There's so many different versions, but yeah, this song makes an appearance on there. But yeah, good song.
Great song. Song 5, Hell.
HE
Double hockey stick.
It reminds me of any of you Office fans out there, Michael Scott. There's like one line in one of the episodes. He's like, "You're going to HELL double hockey sticks." I like that.
I remember that. I do.
Yeah. So many good zingers from Michael Scott, and I'm glad that one was on there as well.
For sure.
But yeah, I feel like with the end of "In Your Honor," the song, and like this song is under 2 minutes. It kind of just reminded me of just like that Dave Grohl's like punk influence. I feel like this album
kind of felt like he was talking to someone. I don't know who, and I'm not going to speculate at all, but anytime you say you're going to see someone there, it's like, I think you're talking to someone.
Yeah.
I think you've got someone specific in mind.
These song lyrics aren't as general as some of your other songs. What's going on here, Dave?
Some are up for interpretation. This one, no, I'm mad at somebody. I'm putting them on blast on a huge album.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway.
Moving on.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too
Moving
far
on to the last song, which isn't the last song on the album.
Track 6 of 10. Here we are with our dad jokes again. But it's also good to know that we aren't the only ones involved with dad jokes, because going back to setlist.com, in the In Your Honor tour, they played this song a few times on that tour first. I was like, well played, Dave. Well played.
Well played. This is the last song of the first song.
Last song. So, yeah, imagine getting to a concert, just hear that one song, you're done. But anywho, yeah. Funny song. I wonder what made them choose that as, track 6.
Probably for that reason, just as a little bit of a troll.
Yeah. Love it.
But it's more, it's not like this is the last song, but it's like this is the last song that I dedicate to you,
Yeah.
He actually, there's a quote about it. He's running through talking about all the songs. He says, "All I've got to say, there's a whole lot of people that I love and hate far more than any of the people that I know." So again, I think he's talking to someone.
Yeah.
These last two, it's like, okay, right in the middle, we got to spruce up some of these songs. I got some emotions I want to get out towards a few choice individuals. I'm not dedicating any more songs to you, and I don't like you very much.
Yeah. I don't think I saw this, but I saw a fact that they played this on the David Letterman show the night before the album came out. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's
just
cool.
Kind of interesting.
And then we're like, wait, that's not even the last song.
Yeah. I was on a website, songfacts.com, and Taylor Hawkins on the website, it said, Taylor Hawkins said, "It's what Breakout should have sounded like. A lot of things on this record to me are what a lot of old past songs should have sounded like. With this record, we worked on everything without beating the heck out of it, just getting the best, most intense, energetic performances." So I thought that was kind of interesting. I was like, yeah, I could kind of see this, like similar to Breakout, I guess. But yeah, interesting quote.
For sure. Free me.
Free me. I kind of made up this category last podcast, but I feel like Free Me would be my vote for most underrated song on the album. And for those of you listening, it's like, what does that mean? Like, most underrated song? I don't know, maybe just like one of their songs that, like, doesn't have a music video. I don't know.
Doesn't garner a ton of attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas like, songs like DOA and No Way Back, they have music videos. No Way Back was on a video game. But yeah, Free Me, great song, but probably just gets overlooked a lot, or maybe not with Foo Fighters fans, but if you're kind of just more of a casual fan, I would say check this one out. I
Yeah.
liked it.
Oh, it's a great one.
So,
And a lot of the like doing some research, you read reviews from like major publications, major media outlets, but those are all subjective. But you read a lot of opinions, and a lot of people in a lot of like comment sections and stuff like that on YouTube, and they're this is a really popular song to like the fan base for sure. So
yeah.
I think that's exactly what you mean when you mean underrated. It doesn't get the commercial attention, but it definitely gets the fans' attention.
Yeah.
People who know the album and listen to it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Resolve.
Oh, a fun fact I heard about this song. This and the song Miracle, which is on the Acoustic album, it's in the TV series The West Wing.
Yes.
I don't know if, yeah.
Yes.
So we're the band.
Dude, how old are you, man? I'm just kidding.
So funny story. I don't remember watching that when it was out, but Valete and I watched it. What was it? It was like right before the 2016 election. So it was kind of
funny,
it was kind of fun watching the show. Just learning lingo of government, and
I never watched the whole show. I did watch some of it, but I never watched the whole thing.
Mm. But yeah, it was fun watching that. I think we might watch it again soon. It's almost election time, and now we can go back and look for the Foo Fighters. So
yes, that's awesome.
But yeah, in I guess the episodes Election Day Part 1 and Election Day Part 2. That's where you will find the Foo Fighters playing these songs.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it says the band is playing. You'll at least hear the songs. I'll have to go back and double check, but it is in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. The Deepest Blues Are Black.
I don't have too much to say about this song. It's not anything against it or anything, but I think it falls victim to the end of the album.
It's so funny because, and I love that you said that falls victim to me, because like with the last album, it was so hard for me to get past the first 3 songs because they were so good. And this one, like they have those on YouTube. You go on YouTube and you just Google the album, or Google. You search the album on YouTube and you get the track list, and you can just go through the songs. Almost every time I did that, I listened to In Your Honor and No Way Back first, and then I would be like, okay, what else can I go to listen to? But I couldn't just because I'd start searching through the songs and I'd just be like, oh, let me listen to No Way Back first again because I freaking love this song. And it was like you have to go back and it does. You're absolutely right. It falls victim to the end of the album, being at the end of the album for sure.
Yeah, I will say though, I do love how it sounds like a nice calm song, and then about the 1 minute mark, it's not.
And then it turns into a classic Foo Fighters song. Starts soft, gets hard.
Yeah, he just starts yelling for a few seconds. I was like, there he is. There he is.
There he is. There you are, Dave. Yeah, for a second I was like, wait, this is on the regular album, not the acoustic album. And then it got into it. Yeah. I was like, oh, here we go.
But yeah, anyway.
End over end. I will say this one might fall victim, but this is a great song.
It is. And I was going to clarify, I feel like, we just talked about how it falls victim to being towards the end of the album. I feel like they do have good very last songs of the album. Like on The Color and the Shape, I love My Way Home. The song on One by One. That song's a great last song, and this one I feel like it's a solid song as well. So it's like maybe they even know that the album's coming to an end. It's like, well, let's pick click it up a notch and
Go out
make
with
sure.
a bang.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say I did like End Over End better than The Deepest Blues Are Black. Yeah, good solid song. Good last song of the album.
For sure.
Not to be confused with the song title, the last song.
Not to be confused with the last song. This is the last song, but
This
not the last song.
Well
I love how
said.
they clarify. They're still like, all right, we got to do something because we can't just leave the last song in there. So they're like, end over end. That kind of sums it up, right? Like end of the album.
There you go.
I feel like that was intentional. It might not have been, but I feel like that's intentional.
I wouldn't be shocked if that was.
All right.
But yeah. That's the end of the...
That's the Foo Fighters album, and then they have the acoustic Foo Fighters album next. Look, if we go through every single song, though, we're gonna be here for a lot long. I think we've already been here over an hour, so maybe we just talk about a few of them because there's a couple things I want to say about a couple songs, but let's not break it down as deep as we did the first album.
Yeah,
let's just go through a few of them.
Yeah, enough highlights to pique your interest. Like, hopefully it encourages you to like go check it out for yourself, and hopefully you find at least a few songs you enjoy. I will start by saying tracks 1, 2, and 4 have guest appearances from I might not be pronouncing this correctly, but Rami Jaffe. He plays the keyboard, and
and now he's a member of the band.
He is an official member of the band now. So he
what year was it?
I think it was 2017 when he was like in the band. And remember, just
2005 to 2017, he's like, yeah, I was on a Foo Fighters album, and now he's like, oh, I'm in the band, dude. I'm here.
Yeah. Guess where Rami Mr. Jaffe.
This is one of those things that I know, but I'm not going to be able to tell you because I don't know. But I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. He played in The Wallflowers.
Oh yeah. I did read that.
Yeah. One Headlight, baby.
Yes.
Classic song right there.
Which is kind of hilarious because you think The Wallflowers like that is so not the Foo Fighters, but then you listen to the acoustic album and you're like, that's the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Like let's get Rami on there.
All right, so not to go through all of them. Well, we should probably point out that John Paul Jones is on 2 of the songs as well. And Grohl said of this, he's like, and this was back, probably before he had kids. He said, this is the greatest day of my life, aside from getting married, was getting to play with John Paul Jones, because he's a huge, self-proclaimed huge Zeppelin fan. So
yeah, John Paul Jones, bassist and keyboardist of Led Zeppelin, for those that may not be familiar. But yeah, he it was on the track 3 for Miracle.
Miracle, yeah.
John Paul Jones was there.
Was it 3 and 4? 3 and 4, and
3 and
another
4.
round.
Okay. Oh, track 4, John Paul Jones played the mandolin.
Oh, so, yes.
That's interesting.
The mandolin is awesome.
Yeah. But I think that's awesome because track 3 that I mentioned in the rock album chat, Miracle, that was the song on The West Wing. So
yes. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. There's two songs I want to talk about, and those are the only 2 really. The first one, and if I interrupt you, I'm sorry. It was Virginia Moon.
Oh yeah.
Norah Jones. I mean, what can I say? I love Norah Jones. I've got a wider range of music I like, and I'm a huge jazz fan. I mean, we've been to the jazz club together before. Just to listen to random jazz music. And oh man, part of the reason I love Norah Jones is because her Come Away With Me comes out in 2002, right? And that song is in my mom's CD player for, oh gosh, CD player. What is that? Is in my CD player for like my entire senior year of high school the next year. Like, and so, nice. I didn't grow up on Norah Jones. I'm not that old. Or I'm not that young. I mean, I'm older than that. I said that wrong. But at the same time, like, she's just great. I love Norah Jones. And that song, if you would put that, on a Norah Jones album, you wouldn't know that it's not her song. You would just assume that it's a Norah Jones song. It sounds like a Norah Jones song.
It's the perfect, it's like a Norah Jones song, and it's a perfect Foo Fighters' second disc of their album, the acoustic version. It's my favorite song on the second album, the acoustic album.
It would be if it not for the other song. But yeah,
Oh,
this is definitely it's definitely such a good song.
yeah. I think I know what your favorite song is, but before we get to that one, I would just add, if you're interested, those listening, check out track 9, Cold Day in the Sun. Taylor Hawkins is the vocalist for that song. Or I think, Dave, he's doing the drums, so they do like a little switcheroo. Yeah. But yeah, he's a great vocalist. And something even before we were like looking into this album, just watching a bunch of Foo Fighters music videos, I was kind of surprised to notice how many songs Taylor did backup vocals on. Like you don't often see that with the drummer. It's like, maybe the guitarist or bassist, but seeing the drummer, like that made me happy. I was like, that's awesome.
I love it. You don't get that outside of like I don't even know what to call it, screamo bands. You got a lot of screamo bands where the drummer will back up vocals or scream or something. But outside of that, you don't really see any drummer singers. But it's pretty cool that he's doing backup vocals on those.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it years ago as a rock song, like years before this album as a rock song. And he said it just made more sense as a acoustic song on this album. And so, I mean, they didn't write it for this album. He had written it previously, and they're like, hey, let's release this. One of those, I feel like it's one of those hidden gems. Like, you don't know, but if you do know, you know that Taylor Hawkins wrote one of these songs by himself years ago, and they released it on this album. It's great.
For sure.
All right, my favorite song on the acoustic version is Razor. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. It's not a song like I grew up listening to. But one of the reasons, it sounds like the song, I don't know if you've seen it, from a movie called August Rush.
Sounds familiar.
So August Rush is we've already been here over an hour. I won't go too detailed, but it's a song about two musicians who kind of fall in love. They have a kid. The dad of the woman interferes, tells her the kid is, or tells the guy the kid is dead, tells the girl that he either way they lose the kid. The father puts him up for adoption, not the father of the kid, but the father of the mom. Puts him up for adoption. They lose him, and they all come together in the end. And he's this music prodigy, and it sounds so much like the song that they play in the main song from that movie. And I think that's why it hit me at first. But I just love the way it's set up. I love the guitar. I love how calm and smooth everything is. The transitions from like the musicality goes like up, then flat, then down, then up. It's just, unless you listen to the song, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But listen to Razor by Foo Fighters. It's great. Yeah. I really enjoyed that song. I listened to it probably just as many times as I've listened to In Your Honor, No Way Back, and Best of You.
Oh, wow.
Like nice. I start with those three, skip to the end of all 20 songs, the end, and then go back to listen to the other ones.
Not the last song, or not end of the end.
Not the end, not the last song.
End over end.
Yeah.
Guest star in this song is Josh Homme of Home. I'm sorry. I'm not sure about pronunciations. But anyway, Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age. He plays guitar in this song.
Yep. Hey, that's why I like it too.
Yeah.
Did I mention that I like Queens of the Stone Age?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think you said it once or twice.
Possibly, yeah.
Anyway, now is the time of the podcast where, before we end here, we have a couple guest appearances. Vocals only. Yours is probably going to be awesome because, from what you tell me, there are a couple of guests in there. So let me play mine first, real quick, and we'll end with yours. So again, listening to Razor a ton. My son, who is in 6th grade, he's just turned 12 years old. I told him, he was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "This is Foo Fighters." He was like, "This isn't Foo Fighters." I was like, "This is Foo Fighters." And he did not believe me. I'll let him explain it to you.
Okay.
Let me start this over and turn my volume. Not that volume. The audio might be a little shaky in the beginning. Again, recording this on my phone. We do not have professional equipment. So here we go.
We are professionals.
Yes.
In the song Razor, it was really weird and how it was smooth, unlike all of the other Foo Fighters song. And I didn't believe you when you told me that this was a Foo Fighters song. So I had to double check on my own time because it was so smooth and half the album is like that. And I really like the song.
I love that.
I just love that he was like, "This isn't a Foo Fighters song." I was like, "Dude, this is the Foo Fighters." Like that, you can clearly hear Dave Grohl's voice here. Like it's obviously him. It's like, no, I don't believe you. I was like, look it up. And he pulls out his phone, Googles it. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is a Foo Fighters song."
I love that. He straight up said, "I don't believe you."
Yeah, I didn't believe you.
That's awesome. Well, I had my two boys review Best of You. So let me play that real quick.
I love it.
All right, Andrew. So we just listened to Best of You. That's like one of my favorite Foo Fighters songs. What about you?
Yeah. I when I first listened to that song, it became one of my brand new favorite songs.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, how does this exist?
Yeah, it's really catchy. Pretty good, though. How do you like it compared to the other ones? Are the other ones still good, though?
Yeah, but I do like this one better.
Nice.
No offense, other songs.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I love that. He's like, how does this even exist?
How does this even exist?
And then I also asked Caleb real quick. His is a little shorter, but still from the heart.
Caleb, say Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Best of You.
Best of You.
Good job. Is that a good song? Good song or bad song?
Good song.
I agree. Thanks, Caleb. I appreciate your review. Say bye.
Say bye.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Both boys, they're excited about this podcast. They're even more excited that they get to be involved. And
yeah, I got to tell you, my older son, who's 15, was I told him he could be, I would review him for the next one because my daughter was on the last one. My other son, he was like, what? Can I leave a review? And I was like, yeah, sure. On the next
awesome. One. Yeah. No, Andrew gets like, all into it. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I think he's like, so people are gonna listen to this? I'm like, well, we'll see. But no. Thank you all for, those that are listening. Thank you for listening. It's been fun making these. So, and our kids get excited about it too. So, if you don't do it for us, do it for them.
Do it for the children.
Right? Yeah.
All right, guys, it's been a long one, but thanks for listening. Yeah. We'll be back in a couple weeks with our next review, Foo Fighters' 6th album, Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace.
Nice. A fantastic album. But before we close out, I have one last dedication. Is that what I want to call it? To Dave Grohl. Hope you're listening, Dave. Here we go.
Dave, and feel free to come on the show, by the way.
Oh, yeah. But this is in response to one of his quotes that we mentioned earlier, like when he says, in 20 years. So
nice.
Listen up. Yeah.
Hey, Dad, have you ever heard of the Foo Fighters?
Oh, yeah.
What record should I get?
In your honor.
So
I
not
love the
quite.
voice.
Yeah.
What record should I get?
So, Dave, it may not be 20 years. It may only be 19, but there you go. My son just asked if I've heard of the Foo Fighters and which album he should get. So, but yeah, I love that I stumbled across that video and saw that, in 20 years, I want people to say this. So there you go.
I mean, that's like the one thing. If we could leave you with one thing about the album, this is what Dave Grohl wants, or this is what Foo Fighters wants you to know that they are. They're Foo Fighters, and we hear that in the first part. And then the second part, they're like, hey, this is all the things we're capable for. So going forward, what we play, it doesn't matter what it sounds like. it's Foo Fighters, because we are the Foo Fighters and we're capable of more than just what you think we are.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Kurt, do you have anything else?
I think I'm good.
Thanks for
I would
listening.
just add, check out the album. It's a good one. The more I listen to it, the more I like it. So
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening to Let's Rock Reviews, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much.
bye.